Hi everybody, so this is part 2 of our 9.6 notes, factoring ax plus bx plus c. We're going to learn a second strategy to factor called the box method. Once you know both strategies, you can pick the one you want to use and use it for forever. You don't have to memorize both. Pick the strategy that makes the most sense to you. Remember from our previous notes that factoring means splitting a product up into the two terms that can multiply to get to that product. So when we factor, we are taking a product and splitting it apart into two terms that we can use to multiply to re-get that product. So if we ever want to check our answers, we take those two terms that we split our product into and we can multiply them together to see if it matches our original product. Strategy 2 here is called the box method. This method's going to start out very similar to the grouping method that we learned in the previous video. So the first thing we're going to need is to look at our multiplying numbers and our adding numbers. In this case, our adding number is still b, and our multiplying number is still the product of a and c. So just like in our previous video, using our previous strategy, the adding number is still that middle number, and the multiplying number is still the product of A and C. So let's look at some examples. These are the same examples in the previous video, so I'm not going to go through how I came up with the magic numbers. That I did in the previous video. If you would like, I'll link it below so you can go back and check to see what that previous video said and how we come up with those magic numbers. So in this example, factor 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. 11 is our adding number, and 2 and 12 multiply to get to 24. So 24 is our multiplying number. Our magic numbers that add to 11 and multiply to 24 are 3 and 8. For the box method, we are going to take our terms and we are actually going to write work from the inside of the box to the outside of the box, which is different than when we were multiplying. So in the first box, we're going to write our first term, 2x squared. In the fourth box, we're going to write our last term, 12. So the first term in the first box, the last term in the last box. In the middle two boxes will be our magic numbers, 3 and 8. And we want to make sure that we remember that those actually have x's with them. So 3x and 8x. Once we have our first term, our magic numbers, and our last term, we're going to find the greatest common factor of each of these pairs and write it on the outside. So let's start at the bottom and work our way up. 8x and 12 have a greatest common factor of 4. 2x squared and 3x have a greatest common factor of x. 2x squared and 8x have a greatest common factor of 2x. And 3x and 12 have a greatest common factor of 3. Now, the terms on the side and the top of our box are going to be our factorization. If I'd like to check this, I should be able to multiply 2x plus 3 times x plus 4 to see if I get the same product I started with. Let's look at one more example. Here we're factoring 12x squared minus 11x minus 15. Our adding number is negative 11, and we know it's a negative because of that minus sign in front. Our multiplying number is negative 180 because 12 times negative 15 equals negative 180. And as we showed in the previous video, the magic numbers are 9 and negative 20. So we are going to build our box. The first term goes in the first box, 12x squared. The final term goes in the final box, negative 15. the magic numbers go in the middle two boxes. So 9x and negative 20. Make sure you remember to put those x's with those two magic numbers. Then we're going to look for the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor between negative 20 and negative 15 is negative 5. The greatest common factor between 12x squared and 9x squared is 3x. The greatest common factor between 12x squared and negative 20x is 4x. And the greatest common factor between 9x and negative 15 is 3. This gives us our two factors, 3x minus 5 and 4x plus 3. You can write them in any order. You could have 3x minus 5 come first, 4x plus 3 come first. Either way is a correct answer. I hope this video is helpful in helping you figure out how to factor when you have a initial coefficient, ax squared plus bx plus c. And looking forward to see you in the next video.